Nothing in this world can be made without chemicals.
50 years you have spent in this industry. What used to look India in a different subdued way. Today, what needs to be changed and how we should behave as a country so that world will look towards us.
You know, we have to stand tall, shoulder to shoulder. We are not less than anybody in the Western world.
We can solve their problem and we can give the faster solution. I think that's where India is going to win the entire chemical race.
By 2047, when we become 100 years old as an independent nation, nothing virgin will be available to us. Plastic ban is not a good idea. Why there is a plastic pollution? Because it is free. Anything free is not appreciated.
What does India need to become a global leader in chemistry? Hi, my name is Aryan. Welcome to Molecule Makers. And we've got something special for you today. I'm going to walk you through something. It's going to be a journey, but it's a special moment for us. 570 research papers, 137 patents. He is also a Padma Shri awardee. Also, the only Indian to be invited to sign the Nobel Stockholm Declaration on the chemistry for the future. We are not talking about a group of scientists, don't get me wrong. It's one. And it's a pleasure to have you. Dr. Yadav, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Aryan, for inviting me and trying to open me up about my past and what I did and what I want to do. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. And to my right, I've got someone who I normally don't see in such a setup. Our co-founder and CEO, Sal Srivastava, also the brains, the leader behind the energy of this company. And we've been able to scale it to this level, all thanks to his leadership. But Sal, I'll leave the floor to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us and spending entire day with us. I think a lot of things where we wanted to talk on, but time is a constraint, so we'll keep it very concise. So looking forward to this conversation, and thank you for joining, sir.
So let's just get to it. Arjunwada, 1950s. Okay, what was life like in the young days? How was it like growing up there?
Very good question. Arjunwada was that time a small village in Kolhapur district in Radhanagari Tehsil, which is about 30 kilometers from Kolhapur. A population of about 430 when I was there. We had practically no school. A new school building was going to be built, but till that time, everybody was studying in village temples. And there was always a paucity of teachers. Okay, that was the situation. And going to school, believe me, I did not like to go to the school. So one day, a group of students came to my home and my mother said, take this boy. And they literally lifted me and took me to the school. And the teacher, I remember his name, Bhatt, sir. He read a very nice story of a man. His name was Tikojira. He was sitting on his donkey and the donkey was lured by carrots and the donkey was walk. And that story was so interesting. I said, I'm not going to miss any school from that day onwards. That was really fun. You can't believe, in villages how students study. Hardly we had any teachers. And when our school building was built, there were 3 rooms in that school building. And we had, education up to 7th standard. Maximum number of teachers would be 4 to 5. So one teacher has to teach 2 classes. So I was simply lucky. I was in 3rd standard and my brother was in 6th standard. So we had the same teacher. So we were sitting in the same classroom on the floor. Of course, this is a village school. And the teacher would teach them very interesting stories of Shivaji Maharaj. And I used to listen. I used to raise my hand. I used to say, I would like to answer. And of course, the teacher would say, no, it is not for you. But that was really fun. I think that fun we'll never have.
Yeah.
That was the school. So where I studied, where everybody took joy in going and fetching kids from their homes to the school. That was half an hour in the morning. That was our exercise. Then only the school will start.
Lovely. Who knew, sir, that a story could be the reason why we've got one of the greatest scientific minds our country or the world has ever had?
That's,
Right, Sagar?
that's so inspiring, I guess. Growing up in such a different setup, I would say, very difficult setup, and taking this entire country on your shoulder and then building the entire innovation engine for country is amazing. It's so inspiring for us.
I agree, and it's with the ethos of what we do here. It's because of people like Sir that we are able to build our.
Can you just tell us about your UDCT journey?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Before that, I want to tell you something very interesting story. Because our village did not have classes beyond 7th standard, we had to go to another village, which was about 3+ kilometers from my village. So we used to walk every day. And what was our equipment? We used to have one danda with us, everybody, all students. Nobody had any, footwear. Why we used to have it? Because on the way we'll meet with snakes and other things. So it was dangerous. So everybody should be prepared to kill snake if it comes on the way. And also another interesting part was we used to have the lagor. You see that is lagor is where you pluck fruits, particularly mangoes. We used to hit the mango, and when the mango falls down, we'll collect it. So I was in my 9th standard. There was a, examination. It's a 6 monthly, examination. And that was the Sanskrit paper. In my village, we had the only one cycle, which everybody used. That is, it is their cycle. But that day, I had the honor of riding their cycle because I wanted to come fast, because there was a wrestling bout in our village. And I was also going to have a wrestling bout. And my number in that was 43. I still remember. And my opponent was a kid from another village. So I wanted to participate. Therefore, I finished that question, the answer in 1 hour, sat on the bicycle, rode it to my village. And before 3:30, I was there. This question paper was at 2 o'clock. So 1 hour I finished. And interestingly, the teacher gave me 100 marks out of 100. He also used to teach us English. And when I finished my 9th, and another interesting thing happened. We had all temporary teachers in my high school, so-called high school. Swami Vivekananda, Vidya Mandir, Vivekananda, Vidyalaya, Vidyalankar Bhavan. So you know what happened? That there were no teachers and the exams were over. So the high school headmaster called me privately and he said, can you correct this answer sheet? I was in 9th and he asked me to correct the 8th standard answer sheets, and he extracted a promise from me that I will not tell anybody, I should not tell anybody that I did the corrections. Nobody knew that. And I had corrected their answer sheets. And of course, the results were declared all time. Everybody, some of my own friends had corrected.
So that kind of brightness was already there.
Yeah. And so but now that teacher is no more. I can tell it publicly because I had given him a promise that I will not tell anybody that I was the examiner. And the other teacher who taught me Sanskrit and English, he said, why are you studying this school village? You go school in the village, go to Kolhapur city. And that is how I went to Kolhapur to study. And the name of the school was private high school. And which was one of the most famous high schools in the city. So I went there. And then I was a topper, etc., etc. And from there, then, of course, I went for higher inter science, from first year in inter science from Rajaram College. So I was the only student who was selected for that time. In the first year, I was one of the 3 students, and next year, one of the 5 students we were selected for IIT entrance exam. And see, it is interesting again. So I was to go to Mumbai to give my interview, because that time IITs used to have physical examination also. My doctor will examine you. So the previous night, I went for a marriage, and that was the marriage of my Sanskrit teacher. I met a student from Vijay, and he said, "What are you going to do?" Because I had a rank in the university. I said, "I'm going to do chemical engineering, IIT Bombay." So you know what he said? There is another place, because he was from Vijay. He said UDCT, that has got very good chemical engineering program. I heard as UCDT. Not even. And I came by bus, practically standing, because hardly, it was about 12 rupees from Kolhapur to Mumbai. And I went to IIT, then went to Matunga, and you'll be surprised that cost of that form was 1 rupee. And that was the last day of filling the form.
Of UDCT.
So, yeah.
UCDT.
Yeah, UCDT. I go inside. It was last hour. I buy the form and I filled in, because that time we had to take, true copies, so-called true copies with the stamp of the headmaster and all that. So those true copies I went and gave it to the clerk. So he said, "Today is the last day. You are coming in the last hour. We have already prepared the list."
Okay.
But then he said, "No, give," because officially he could not have denied to me. So he said, "Give me your papers." I gave him, and you know what he said? "In this list, in all India ranking, you are number 9. There are 18 seats on all India basis from anywhere in the country. So you fit, so you will get admission." I did not say anything. I went home. And next week I got a telegram. That time they used to send telegram. "Sir, you have been admitted to this BChem engineering program with a seat in the hostel." That was the telegram. So I told my father I've got admission this, and I've also got an admission in IIT. IIT was 5 years, UDCT was 4 years. Therefore, I joined UDCT. Because my father said, we can save 1 year's expenses. And I was a national scholar, so I used to get 110 rupees per month.
Amazing.
That was good enough. That time it was good enough.
Very inspiring, sir. So that's where in UDCT you got mentorship of Mr. Dr. Professor Sharma.
Yeah, he was the head of chemical engineering, and I still remember on 23rd August 1970, he came to our class. He said he wants to address all new students, and he told us many fascinating stories of chemical engineering. Our human body is a best example of chemical reactor, and that Union Carbide plant was built, no seal, etc., etc. He told many stories, very impressive. And he said, "We are spending 4,000 rupees per student, university spending, and you are paying hardly some." The fee was about 400 rupees. That was the fee we used to pay. But I have not forgotten. Because of him, I stayed in ICT, UDCT. That time UDCT, now ICT.
He has been a great example, mentor for the country, I would say.
Of course.
And what is one difference he has brought in you?
Actually, he made me research oriented, because I loved research. And so working with him, I learned many tricks of the trade. He used to give me, letters to draft. I used to go and give it to him. And remember, I have studied in vernacular. He has studied in vernacular. It's not that we studied in English medium schools, but I used to write very good English. I had a flavor for languages. So I wrote very good Hindi, Marathi,
English.
And also English and Sanskrit as well. So I had that flavor. But he used to encourage me. So whenever wanted me to do something, I used to write the letter and go to him. He will correct it. That's how I learned the tricks from him. But he was highly encouraging.
Right. Sir, you have spent almost 5 decades and contributed a lot to the nation, right? And in last 5 decades, what have you seen that India has changed in terms of R&D framework or innovation, what currently India is doing, and what you see the next decade looks like?
Very good question. That during our time, there were hardly any equipment. If you require special permission to import equipment, because foreign exchange were rare. So, even chemicals. So when I was doing research, I used to get gift chemicals from Garda Chemicals and Sahyadri Dye-Stop and all these companies, okay? They would give something. I worked with gases where the cylinders half empty, maybe very little gas is remaining. I will borrow that cylinder and make use of that. So literally, we had hardly any money. As far as Professor Sharma is concerned, he used to tell us that the entire budget of chemical engineering that time, 60 chemical engineering students 4 years and 135 BSc Tech for 3 years was 19,000 rupees. So frugality. So we learned how to do things on our own. That was the difference. Now see, forget about special equipment. We used to do titrations. We used to have rotometers to measure flow rates of gases and all. Now rather soap film meter. A rotometer few, but soap film meter. Now see, you cannot see. Now you have mass flow meters and what. We did not have anything of those kinds. So we were literally struggling.
The limited access of capital and all has led to the frugality mindset.
Of
and
course.
I think that's the DNA of India for last 4-5 decades.
And you see what has happened. We get many things in plenty. Now, most of the research institutions, IITs, NITs and all, they have got enough money. They get money. It's not that they are deprived of that. But creating original ideas, ours was idea-based research, not equipment-based research. And that was Professor Sharma's hallmark. It was idea-based research.
Very interesting.
Sometimes theoretical work, which is far ahead of its time. That was the...
And how you see next decade, sir?
See, now you see what has happened. A good question. The reason being that we are living in the world of AI, ML and whatnot. All these sorts of things are happening. Earlier, we used to go to the library, open the chemical abstracts and read and jot it down. Then it is not only just, so we'll read this page, that page. So sometimes relevant, irrelevant information also is known to you. Now what? You give a keyword and something will come within a fraction of a second. So we used to go to the library with a notebook or a card and write things.
Right.
Now you don't have to labor. You get instantly because of internet on the huge database. Things have changed. That was not the case. And now with AI and all, you have access to the data, but the data must be quality data.
Very true.
Who has produced that data? What is the, standard deviation in that data? Whether are they reliable data? All that matter. But yes, so speed has increased. We can do predictive maintenance by using AI, right?
Yes.
But we cannot create original ideas with AI. Original idea is original idea. Correct? You may be aided in analyzing the data which you have.
True.
And finding a fast solution. That is what is happening. Whether you do research or otherwise.
So speed of doing things has gone really fast.
Yeah. So speed is the one which has gone up like anything.
So India has incredible research output. Decades and decades, and incredible scientists like you have contributed to it. But one way we've lackluster to an extent is commercializing and taking it to the next level. You and Salil have both been at the injunction or conjunction of that. How do you think that India can actually capitalize on this incredible R&D talent and also research output?
Yeah, I would say that so far, if you see the entire academic infrastructure or framework, the incentivization is around the fame and the publishing the R&D or the records or maybe the research what they are doing. I think the entire shift has to happen from academic first to the commerce first approach.
Right.
The people should start building towards which can be become a real commercial large outcome and which can solve real problem in the world, right? Doing research on academic or on paper, I think that shouldn't be an incentive. That should be there, but I think larger piece should come from, larger outcome will come when people will shift their entire approach to the commerce or commercial outcome first. So that is one thing. And second, I would say that today world is looking towards India. And there's a strong, this is the time of era of India, right? Next decade, India will see a lot of development across manufacturing, across multiple segments. So people should start working on the global first approach, where not only India demand, global customers, global clients are looking to us. And now if we can solve their problem and we can give the faster solution, I think that's where India is going to win the entire chemical race.
Fantastic. So do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I have a model which I used to tell my colleagues when I was the vice chancellor, or even before that. That is a 3P model. That is patent, publish, and prosper. You develop technology, transfer that technology to industry, and obviously you will be rewarded with whatever contract you have signed. In ICT's case, I tell you what happened. Long time ago, it was in 1991. The ICT, the UDCT then was a part of Mumbai University. I applied for a patent, but then I had to take a permission of the management council. So my papers went to Mumbai University, this Ford campus. No answer for 1 year. Changed it. Then they said, submit 35 copies of entire document. Now all secrets are there in that. They say 35 copies. Why? Because all members should get that. So I submit. Now I had no option. Then I get a, letter from them. You are permitted to apply for patent, but university is not responsible for it. You have to pay on your own and maintain everything. So that time, DST, Department of Science and Technology, they had this TIFAC unit. TIFAC used to started this program. But the name of the gentleman was R.K. Saha. He said they will support me in filing the patent. So they supported me. It was not much, about 5,000 rupees. They paid for me. And then I became the first example academic institution patent holder supported by, TIFAC. Okay. And so they used to call me to give talks everywhere, but how TIFAC is helping. But the most important part, when UDCT became independent, deemed university, and I became the founding vice chancellor, I knew the difficulties of the researchers. I was very sympathetic to everybody. I said, and people used to come to me for permissions. The moment they come, I used to approve. Okay, go ahead. Now everybody was surprised. So I said, who am I to stop your idea of being patented? That is the job of the patent attorney or examiner.
True.
Right? That's it. I'm nobody. I'm not expert in everything. But I want to facilitate this. At the most, I will lose that money, patent fee. Okay? I have no problem. So during my tenure of 10.5 years, 406 patents were filed.
Wow.
Of which 169 were granted.
Oh my God.
But believe me, I had the largest share in that, and somebody else. But the idea was I wanted people to file their patent so that they get, and with industry at another, I used to tell the industry, you have the first right of refusal. We'll have 50-50, first right of refusal. If you refuse, then we'll go to somebody else, sell the patent, and whatever we get, 50-50. That was my formula. It worked out like a charm. But why people don't patent things? Because they are afraid of, they don't know, they are not sure about what patent means. And also that time, 7, 8, 9, 10 years for one patent application. 10 years. Now that doesn't happen. Last year in 2025, India filed 1.34 lakh.
Incredible.
1,34,000 patents.
This
This is the
incredible.
record, first time. Because now they are doing it very fast. But earlier it never happened. So when I was elected as a fellow of the US Academy of Inventors, that program was done in USPTO. So my name was there on the plate, and that others who were inducted with me in that USPTO office. And I happened to be the only second Indian. See, you can imagine the joy that USPTO is recognizing you for patents, many US patents. So these patents related to hydrogen and other derivatives.
Do you see that these patents, maybe 1.3 lakhs patent India has filed, where you see that the commercial real outcome?
Yeah, very good question. So for that, in academia, we don't have a system which is called the technology transfer and technology licensing deans. They should be there, and these people should be from industry. They should come and join academia. They know the value of patents. Not all patents can be commercialized. Remember that. Almost 98% of the patents are not commercialized, but the remaining ones they have potential. 98%, some of them will be blocking somebody's entry into that area. So there are many patents, they block somebody's entry. Like, you have only one window kept. All other windows and door is closed. So you cannot enter. That is the idea. But yes, unless you try, you cannot get it. So that is another problem. Why? And also, our industries have a little conservative. They don't believe that Indian academics can really do, innovate and do things. This is another problem.
Very interesting point you told, sir. Like earlier, the patent itself, that innovation engine, to start that engine, there was a problem, and then things got changed and people are now filing patent. So step number 1 is clear. Now step number 2, where industry will participate in these patents and bring that commercial outcome or bring some scale manufacturing out of these patents, right? Whether that framework is not ready today, that infrastructure is not ready today, or that's a mindset problem of industry that today these patents are like just for academic purpose.
I tell you something. You know there are TRL level 1 to 9.
Right.
TRL level 1 to 3, you can do in the academic lab. But thereafter, you require some hand-holding. You require some industry participation.
Right.
And then when it goes to TR 11, 6, 7, 8, 9, that is the time actually the industry should be taking that idea. That is what it is. So, what is happening is that people give up. They give up. They do good work. They might publish also, but they don't realize the value of their patent.
And people give up because the time and the capital requirement to commercialize that could be one reason.
No, I tell you something. I had developed a very interesting theory and done experiments also, but we are not patented it. And so Dow Chemicals once invited me to USA, and they specifically told me that I should talk on that topic only. So when I went to Midland and gave a talk there, they gave me some honorarium also. I was very happy. That one of the guys, that fellow asked me, have you patented it? I said, no. Then he said, thank God, we are going to have a plant based on this.
Oh.
I did not realize the value of my work because there was no culture. There was no culture.
Yeah.
So that industrial culture should be inculcated within the research ecosystem.
100%. You should have, that nowadays we are the professor of practice and things like that. Most of the universities and IITs have. I was the chairman of that committee. I would suggest that, yes, you must have people from industry, either adjunct professors, or professors of practice, and they tell you the game. They tell you how to take up an idea to the next level. Otherwise, it is not going to happen. Even if I say that I got so many patents, then next question, how many you commercialize? Then you have to maintain that patent. Maintaining patent, foreign patent is almost 2 lakh rupees.
So
Now, government of India has done a good thing. That is, you don't have to pay anything. Government of India pays
will pay
for the
for
patents.
patents.
Yes, and also maintain. So that is a very good thing. India has done
very
a good thing.
move. Very
Yeah.
good move. So we talked a lot on patents, and also recently, like we also talked about cylinder you were getting earlier, but nowadays people are not getting cylinders. So there's a significant energy crisis, specifically LPG. So I was reading your article that you have built or developed a technology where you are going to convert CO2 to the fuel. So can we
Yeah, I'll
understand
tell
more
you
on
something. I have been working in variety of areas, so-called green chemistry and engineering, sustainability for last so many years, maybe almost 30 years I've been working. In fact, I started the first program in ICT. I used to teach chemical engineering students green chemistry and green technology courses. Then I converted that into green technology MTech program where all sorts of students used to come.
that?
But I'll tell you something. What work we have been doing, I said nothing is waste. Everything is a value. There is no waste. Waste has to be valorized. So what are the wastes? For example, the biomass waste, correct? Agricultural waste. The
Yes.
farmers burn it, create pollution. You can't land in Delhi. Then there is a particulate matter and all those things. Air quality index goes beyond 300, 400, 500. Very bad thing. So my suggestion is what? No, that should not be done. How can we increase farmers' income? Take all agricultural waste because it is bulky. It has to be compacted, densified, and make pellets. Okay? And these pellets you can transfer to somewhere else. And from that agricultural waste, because it has got cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, all these are very good sources of chemicals. And then with hydrogenation, hydrogenolysis, and oxidation, I can make variety of chemicals. So-called biorefineries. Okay, like a petroleum refinery, these will be biorefineries. So that is one thing. So in the case of carbon dioxide is generated, and we are worried about carbon dioxide. Our aim is what? To limit the temperature of the globe by the end of this century to 1.5 degrees Celsius. That is so-called Paris Agreement of 2015.
Yes.
And so remember, we have to control carbon dioxide. That means we should not be burning things. Or even if we burn, we have to take care of that carbon dioxide. That is the so-called net zero. Net zero means what? Whatever carbon dioxide you generate, you have to take care of it. Either you sequester it, store it, or make something else. So my philosophy is what? It is not net zero, net negative. Carbon dioxide becomes a feedstock. From carbon dioxide, I can make chemicals. So hydrogen comes into picture. That is green hydrogen. So carbon dioxide to methane, carbon dioxide to LPG, carbon dioxide to hydrocarbon, carbon dioxide to SAF, sustainable aviation fluids.
Amazing.
That
and
is
all things can be.
that
done.
can be. These are catalytic technology. We have got patents. We have filed many things.
It has become a technology platform.
And so pretty much. So this dimethyl ether, carbon dioxide to dimethyl ether, single stage we have developed, and we are collaborating with Godavari Biorefinery. The pilot experiments are going on. Within next 3-4 months time, we'll have that technology which will transfer. Okay, so that is one. My hydrogen technology, where green hydrogen, I'm water splitting hydrogen. Mine is a totally different type of concept. So I believe that now that work is supported by ONGC Energy Center. So they are my partners. So obviously that work now we are doing it in Taloja. We have a pilot plant there. We have quite a few staff who are working on the pilot plant. That will be ready within next 1 or 1.5 years time, because a lot of data are required. And we believe that we can produce hydrogen if it is 100 tons per day, less than $1. And remember, water splitting means hydrogen and oxygen. Remember, during those COVID days, we had a problem of short supply of oxygen.
Yes.
So you from 9 kilo of water, you get 1 kilo of hydrogen and 8 kilo of oxygen. And the cost of oxygen, bulk quantity, is about 15 to 16 cents, American cents per kg. Okay, so when they say hydrogen should be less than $1, it is called 111. The American Department of Energy said 111. That is 1 kilo hydrogen in $1 in 1 decade. So we are given 1 decade. That was in 2021. So 2031 it will be over. By that time, US government has promised $3 per kg subsidy.
Oh my God.
Why? Because they want to capture the entire world. So my advice is what? My advice is that we should be energy exporting country.
True.
Yes.
If we do hydrogen, by 2030, we have said that 45% of the carbon dioxide we want to reduce. 50% of our energy will be green energy,
Yes.
renewable energy. In that, hydrogen will play a very important role. That number is anywhere between, about 840 million metric tons. That is the upper limit. Lower is about 520. But that means hydrogen economy will grow, and this hydrogen will be useful for all sorts of industries, converting waste into wealth, making different chemicals. So biorefineries become a reality.
Yeah.
Another interesting part, which people are not realizing, in our country, we want to ban everything. Is, for example, plastic ban. Plastic ban is not a good idea. I tell you why. During this COVID period, we were saved by plastic. Why there is a plastic pollution? Because it is free. Anything free is not appreciated. Argument's sake, I'll give you a good example of that. You know the housewife. The housewife will never throw newspaper outside. She will collect it and sell it as raddi, waste paper. She gets a lot of money. Sometimes
Right.
she sprinkles water to increase the weight. Correct? But the same housewife, when she takes the milk and milk bag takes the milk out, she does not allow even one drop of milk to remain there. She will put copious quantity of water, shake it well. If she's not able to shake well, she will ask her husband to shake it 100 times. What is the philosophy? Philosophy is that milk drop also has a value, but that plastic has no values, therefore it is thrown. My suggestion is very simple. Supposing there was a barcode on that, 20 rupees. Suppose milk is 60 rupees, you have to pay 20 rupees. When you return that milk bag, your 20 rupees will be given back to you. So like a newspaper boy comes to your home every day in the morning, another boy will come and collect it. Segregation of plastic at source can be achieved. There will not be any litter anywhere. And pollution will be stopped. And tomorrow we will have this kind of plastic as a feedstock, because I can do chemical recycling, I can do ammonolysis, methanolysis, solvolysis.
Very
name it.
enterprising thoughts.
Yeah, all sorts of chemical, hydrocarbons I can produce. So why ban it? Ban means illicit business.
That will boost a different route
Yeah,
of doing business.
correct.
But this is really very enterprising thought that how to curb that.
we should
Exactly
not.
what you were talking about, combining that research and commercial angle.
Yeah. I think, look, we have to, ultimately my personal belief, I'm telling you, my personal belief, nothing should be banned. Alternate should be provided first before you ban it. So if one technology doesn't solve the problem, another has to be developed. Otherwise, still we'll be driving my bicycle only. Correct?
Right.
Why did we? So if technology advances, better solution, better technology is the solution, not banning. Because ban means illicit business. Authorities make money.
But this is really amazing that providing a technology platform so that anything which is there like CO2, you have to make it as a consumption consumption material, not to emit in the environment. So those things I think is it will
that
change
is what
the entire.
see, the last year, that how much CO2 we emitted? 42.4 gigatons, billion tons. That has to be captured. And this so-called net zero means 10 gigatons. Not more than 10 gigatons by any sources across the world should be emitted into the atmosphere so that temperature remains constant.
So our scientific team also has inculcated that green chemistry practices in our research center. So all 12 principles of green chemistry we have inculcated. Whenever
good.
you are free,
Very good.
we will
Actually,
walk you
that is so waste to wealth. Nothing is waste. So, argument's sake, I'll tell you batteries. When we talk about EV, right? That means it is not going to pollute. But if the electricity is generated by using coal, it is CV, coal. So it is not EV. EV means it has to be renewable energy which is used to generate electricity.
True.
That is EV, correct? So we have to change our philosophy. And I have another suggestion. Because, our government has done a very good job. It's like 1 crore households will have, this solar
rooftop.
Solar tops. But you have to store that energy somewhere, right? In the grid capacity has to be increased. We do not have the grid capacity.
Grid capacity is not
So
there.
grid capacity increase the first exercise which our government should bring. Then solar, of course, another issue. After 25 years, solar panels become useless. We started in the year 2000. There is almost 60 million metric tons of
E-waste.
That has to be recycled because we have rare earth metals, we have glass, we have polycarbonates, you name it, everything is there. That has to be recovered and reused.
So I'm very proud to tell this that entire team in Scimplify, they have created a framework where they are going to recycle a lot of products in their specific businesses. So there will be a separate recycling theme which we are implementing.
So I have this solution. Sometimes they call 7R, I call 5R. First is refuse. If I refuse drinking water from the glass, this water bottle, that means I have saved carbon dioxide. Right? Then repurpose. Repurpose means use the same material for something else. Like, for example, this aspirin, which people used to use for headache and,
Yes.
now it is a blood thinner. So
Right.
all people above 50, they take aspirin, right?
Yes.
That is blood thinner. Then reuse. Okay? Reuse. Reduce.
So
And last is recycle. Recycle engineering is going to be the best thing, which everything has to be recycled. Everything has a value.
True. For example,
I call chemical engineering, future chemical engineering as recycle engineering. Because nothing virgin is there.
True. I think starting from battery, you have automotive e-waste, then you have plastic recycling, you have rPET, and everything. Now we have started doing these recycling of these materials, and we are setting up new infrastructure as well.
On the television, I'm saying it jokingly, but I mean it, that some sadhu and boa comes, he says, beta, zara acha vichar karo, right? Positive raho. I'm saying negative raho. What is the, I mean, negative carbon. Okay. So no carbon should be used as a fuel in any fuel mix. All material recycle, everything, because by 2047, when we become 100 years old as an independent nation, nothing virgin will be available to us. Whether it is minerals, materials, whatever, we will not have them.
So, this conversation is the reason why we have things like scientific advisory boards.
Yeah.
Right? In a 30-45 minute podcast, you could create millions of dollars worth of value just of ideas, which can then get commercialized. But sir, one really selfish question I have to ask. You've seen the chemical industry over decades. What makes you want to partner and work with Scimplify?
Oh, very good question. Look, I liked your idea. What you are helping the country, you are helping the industry. This industry was looked down upon, chemical industry.
Right.
I tell you what, supposing there is a modern Swayamvar, that is where the groom is chosen by the bride with the garland, she will, and there is a long list of these, potential grooms. She will never garland a chemist or chemical engineer or chemical technology because she thinks these are all dirty fellows, polluting fellows, because that is the impression. Correct? They do not know nothing in this world, whatever we have here, this camera, mobile phone, nothing in this world can be made without chemicals. Many man-made objects. Whether it is mobile phone, for example, there are 30 inorganic oxides in that. The so-called touch screen, it is indium oxide.
Right.
There are polycarbonates, there is gallium arsenide, there is silicon, okay, then glass, and you name it, metal, everything. All of them require these chemicals.
Yes.
Whether it is hydrometallurgy, whether it is semiconductor industry or whatever we talk about,
Very true.
everywhere chemicals are required, but people do not know that. People think, oh, that's not a good profession.
And people think you can leave chemistry, but chemistry is never leaving you.
Yeah. Even in love there is chemistry. There is no physics.
And that actually motivated me. And I realized that there everything which I see, touch, feel, everything is having chemical or some part of chemical inside that. And I was wondering that from where all this come, and that's where that ideation of starting Scimplify started.
Listen, I tell you what, unfortunately, this is not happening. We have to tell our kids. We require smart manufacturing. We require all sorts of industries. My chemical industry is much bigger than the so-called chemical industry where they say 15% of GDP comes from chemical industry. In fact, it is much larger.
True.
Textile is chemical industry. Polymers is chemical industry. Batteries is chemical industry. But people do not know that. So that is the problem because we segmentize many things.
True.
It's all right. Let them segmentize, but they must know the reality.
Right.
This is what is. Chemicals are required. I jokingly say this. Show me any place around and the object is not made by including this, not made by using chemicals, I will give you 100 crore rupees. I don't have even one with me, but why I'm saying because there is nothing can be found.
True.
Nothing can be found. But this message has to go to society at large. So I must compliment you and your colleagues for helping chemical and allied industry, pharmaceutical industry, whatever material industry by this fantastic concept called Scimplify.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So, in fact, we realize that chemistry is shaping everyday's life. It's changing how we consume things, how we improvise things. So it's like changing the entire behavior of the human mankind, like how we perceive things. So chemistry or chemical engineering or entire chemical industry is driving the entire world in a way. So people are not realizing. So, and we were very curious that how single molecule is shaping that, as you said, that mobile or a semiconductor or a textile or a pharmaceutical drug or agrochemical or food. It's everywhere. So we wanted to build that entire engine where we can move the innovation faster and make manufacturing and real
And another
product
interesting,
faster.
I will add to something to that. 70% of chemicals do not see the common light. They are used by some other chemical industry.
Right.
So they end up in products, maybe polymers or whatever. General public will not see something. They may say soap.
Right. But
Right?
inside that, there's many chemical
So
ingredients.
they might see soap or maybe detergent.
Right.
It is up to us to learn how to celebrate the omnipresence.
You said so.
Yeah.
But as I said before, I compliment you and your team for taking upon yourself this missionary role
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
saving chemical and allied industry.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk a bit on current a world which is moving towards AI, and we strongly feel that this is era of 5x compounding growth, because things which has happened in 5 decades now it is possible to see that growth in 5 years because of excess of knowledge, excess of intelligence. How you see, sir, that chemistry or that chemical industry will change see the change because of AI?
Very good question. What AI, I told you that AI is a tool. AI is a tool. It will help us increase the efficiencies of making decisions, predictive maintenance, and every field we require that, right? Whether it is a lawyer or a judge or a doctor or somebody else. If the information is taken and processed, the processing requires something else, which requires chemicals, as I said. Now we are also talking of, that all this cloud will be that we put in Pune and Bangalore, right? And
Yes.
Hyderabad. How much energy is required? Just imagine to process those data and keep it. So when we say AI, when we are using it, how much energy is required to store this information under what condition, what temperature, cryogenic or otherwise, that means energy, right? So AI doesn't come free. AI doesn't come free. AI comes to rescue you from, reducing the time.
Right.
It reduces the
Accuracy
time.
and time.
The accuracy and time, and that is based on real data. If the data are wrong, AI will not give you correct answers.
Precisely.
You have
So
that,
what I see, sir, earlier a lot of follow-ups, reconciliation, resolution. So autonomous resolution will happen through AI.
yeah,
And
100%.
And next 4-5 years, we see as a company that there's a question of intelligence. Like today, we talk and we say that there's obvious intelligence. The bar of obvious intelligence will go up because intelligence will be accessible to everyone. So the bar of intelligence will go up. I think that will change the entire.
See, I tell you what is going to happen. Certain mental calculations we used to do. Now you may not do it because you say, "Arey, AI will give me this answer," right? It's like a school teacher. Okay, you don't know, so I go to the library earlier. Now you will ask AI, okay, what is the answer of this? And you may get the answer, depending on what sort of algorithm is there, right?
Right.
So this is very important. So AI will evolve. And it is believed that the AI capacity may be more than human intelligence by 2030. That is believed.
True.
But AI will not replace human intelligence.
Very true.
It will
Because as
never
you said,
replace human intelligence.
You said that original ideas will come from human.
You may take fast decisions,
But the original innovation.
the original innovation that will never be. It may aid you. Maybe you got tons of data.
Right.
It's like finding a needle in a haystack, right? That is what it is. So that unless that originality is there, you will not be able to do it.
So we have developed a tool where it discovers the root of synthesis or the recipe of that entire process in much faster way. So earlier our scientists used to do exercise for let's say a week time or they take 10-15 days, but now it is happening in seconds.
Yeah. So, but only drawback I would tell you, people should not literally accept it as an answer. Yes. You have to question that answer, how it was, given by that AI, what sort of algorithm it used, which database it used. Which database, that is very important.
True.
So you may get the answer fast, but that answer you must think independently.
Right. So
that is my advice.
Today, I think human in the loop is much important intervention because whatever it is recommending or throwing as a result is not 100% accurate. So
by all means, you can check it. You whatever correct answer. It's like, as I said, it is predictability will increase because it has got certain set of data. Like suppose you have got huge data and your client is some XYZ company. Okay, and they were doing something, but they failed and they came to you and they said, okay, do this. First thing you are going to ask, why did you fail? Give me the data. We may take help of AI. We may put our brains together and find out why did they fail. First, the so-called root cause analysis. That has to be done. Where AI can help me in root cause analysis. But I must have that correct data. And then I will suggest. But even suggesting, you will have to think, is it correct? Because AI is saying so and so, is it correct? That thinking is still required.
Yes.
So how we are using currently other than R&D, because R&D, a lot of patent data it is extracting and giving us better recommendation, faster and more accurate, you can say. But other than that, we work with 500 plus factories. We have created digital twin of these factories on the platform.
Okay,
now, which factory can do respective process in most efficient manner? That AI is telling.
Yeah, that is correct.
That is
a very good use of the AI. It is a very good use of because. So, look, everybody wants fast answers. Like I said yesterday, not even tomorrow. You want fast answer. Which factory will do it? Again, the material availability, supply chain management, everything you will look at it.
True.
From where you are getting it. Is it available in the market? Is it affected by the Middle East war or not? Whatever.
Right.
These data, this information, if you give, it will give you a correct answer. It will save your time.
Right.
It will allow you more time to innovate. And that's what an innovation first company will need, because your everyday work can become 10x. But
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
creative mindset goes to 10x too.
Yeah. You know, I read a very nice book some time back. It is called Think Tank by David Linden. It's a collection of 40 essays by neurologists. They were all neurologists. One of the authors in that article, because he has examined brains of young child, older people, middle-aged people, everybody. And you know what he found? He said, human intelligence cannot be replicated by AI. Human intelligence, yes, it will help you, but it will not help you generate new ideas unless you are original.
Very true.
Great.
So before we end this, we're going to do something that I like to call you need to answer at the speed of AI. The rapid fire round.
All right. All right.
So we'll start with Salil.
Sure.
With Scimplify, what is that one moment that you felt this might actually work?
I would say customer validation on the first instance,
Right.
the acceptance of model from the customer side, and when we got the first customer, they said let's scale it up, let's build this faster because it's working very fine.
And that energy is continued till now.
And
Only
now
getting more.
every day it is very incremental change you can see in the company.
Compounding, as we
It's
say.
compounding very fast.
Now, Doc, what separates a good scientist from a truly great one?
The great scientist will never lose track. He will never give up. A good scientist may do something in the lab, but great scientist will never give up. He will continue because failure is temporary. Success is autocatalytic.
Wow.
If you are successful once, you will become successful again and again and again. But not giving up is the greatest virtue.
Sir, and this is how I think industrialists and scientists are so similar, because it's the persistence to not give up. And that's why we feel, and I think Salil will also agree, and I think you will too, sir. That's why they'll make such a good team.
Correct.
We just need to figure out how to take that team to the next level. And that's what we're trying to do here. But before I diverge again, I'll ask you your quick next question.
Yeah.
Salil, if not for the chemical industry, it's very omnipresent and we know what you love. Which other industry would you be in, if not for this?
In today's world, something which is related to AI, I would say that knowledge is what we drive, intelligence what we drive. So I think something around intelligence and knowledge could be education and all.
Okay, interesting. And so if not science, if not chemistry, same question to you, what path do you think you would have taken?
I would have taken literature.
Oh, lovely. So are we going to expect some short stories coming soon?
No, I'm a poet, you know that I have written the ICT song I have written, which is
No
the
way.
university song. I must have written many poems.
Incredible.
I am a poet by nature.
The left brain and the right brain is truly in cohesion over here.
This is
So in fact, when I was in my so-called inter-science before I went to ICT, I won a competition, poetry competition. And the professor was a Marathi professor in my college. He said, hey, you join my department. So I said, no, I want to be a chemical engineer. And I said, I can still write poetry by being a chemical engineer. But I will not be able to do chemical engineering if I become a poet.
And honestly, I think being a chemical engineer might make you a better poet because you understand the way the world works.
No, my poem is Rasayan Devika. It is, that poem is a goddess of chemicals.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, that is. So I created this goddess. The whole purpose is to give peace, tranquility to the entire world.
wow.
Making use of waste. Everything is there in that poem.
This is fascinating.
Yeah, and I wrote that while I was traveling from Mumbai to Delhi. I wrote it, and I never told anybody because it was released on, in 2012 when we had the convocation.
That's an
Okay,
incredible.
I did not tell anybody I wrote it, but then Chief Minister Prithviraj Chauhan said, "Who wrote this poem?" And then I told him I wrote this poem.
Oh my God.
Incredible, sir.
This is wow.
Wow.
I think we will move to the final few questions
Yeah,
and
no
we'll
problem.
quickly go very quick with this one. So, Salil,
No.
as a founder, every day it's persistence is there, but what's the one thing in you or in most founders that makes them different, the successful ones?
I would say that ability to learn fast, execute fast,
Execute fast.
right?
Yes.
Both, because maybe you're not from same field or function, but the ability to learn quicker, faster is what I feel that where we are strong as a company,
Right. Very
right?
true.
And everyone should drive that.
And you've driven it, I mean, me at least, that culture. So I think that's a really good one. And back to you, sir. If you could sit with any scientist for, let's say, a good meal, any time of the world, who would it be? One scientist.
Albert Einstein.
Fantastic. I was hoping for that answer. You would make some great conversations over there. And, sir, in one sentence, what does India need to become a global leader in chemistry?
A very good question. India needs simply dedicated people, original people who can work with their own hands and take their idea to commercial fruition. Okay, then only India will become. India needs entrepreneurs. India does not need job seekers.
That's
Great.
hit the nail on the head with that one, sir. This has been fantastic.
Fantastic.
But before we wrap up, there'll be many more questions because this 1 hour conversation is not enough given your experience and your knowledge, and I don't have enough words to explain what I'm thinking right now. But Salil, what's the one question you want to ask, sir, before we roll the cameras? We wrap
One
up.
question with Professor.
Professor.
Interesting. I think, sir, it's like part of mind problem, but given a unconstrained scenario where you don't have constraint of capital, constraint of resources, or any information or any intelligence or any research, where you would have invested in means where what you would have done next 1 year, that you have enough capital, enough resources where you would have deployed for country as a country. If you see.
I will make India energy independent.
Wow.
Wow.
Totally energy independent. Because what are our material needs? Energy and materials. If I make energy independent, everything else will fall in place. Because it is the cost of energy which is, hitting our industry also.
Yes, sir. So every single bandwidth you feel that should go in on the energy side. And definitely as a company, we should also start looking that guidance from you that we should invest in energy sector as well.
Very true.
Yes.
How to make India energy independent.
Right. It's a great inspiration, sir, having you on the podcast. Very, very informative, meaningful conversation we had. I think a lot of things to take away from this conversation. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for spending time with us.
I must tell you, I enjoyed expressing my views. It was not prepared or anything. You just said you are going to do it, and I agreed.
Yes.
Because I'm personally a talkative person. I like to express myself whenever and mostly I must tell you, I don't write speeches. I talk on the spot.
Wow.
Extempore,
Very
looking at the situation there, and I can talk on many subjects.
So given your poetic nature, we can believe that.
From science, spirituality to anything, I can talk on that, and I've done it, and any sort of audience. So that is very interesting because I believe this particular podcast
Fantastic.
was revealing who I am and what we should do as a nation. I am highly nationalistic.
Right, sir. Before we wind up, one important point, like if you can talk that how world is looking towards us. There's a trust deficit. There's as you said that earlier, for 50 years you have spent in this industry, world used to look India in a different subdued way, right? Today, what needs to be changed and how we should behave as a country so that world will look towards us.
We have to stand tall, shoulder to shoulder. We are not less than anybody in the Western world. We have contributed to the economy of the West. Our talent has gone there because they found an outlet. They found an outlet. Okay, their talent was used. They were allowed to grow. Now we know that these are our people. Okay, we should look at the world as we are, like Vishwa Guru, we say, na?
Right.
We can really do that, but we have to believe ourselves. We have to believe our youth. We are highly talented people in India, and they should be given opportunity.
great talent density India produces.
Yeah, we have so many talented people. Unfortunately, many people do not know. And I think we are a spiritual capital. We are a spiritual capital. The spirituality with the talent, if that is combined properly, we will be a great nation. And I will tell you something else, which I did not say. My personal belief, we want to be a $30 trillion economy by 2047. How do we become 30 trillion? We are just 4.2 trillion, right?
Yes.
That means these major 4 or 5 states must generate almost $4 to $5 trillion economy in next few years.
Each state needs to be a million.
Yeah. That then only will be trillion. But another thing, our GDP growth should be cumulative about 24-25%. That is one. Service sector may be about 70%.
Right.
Auto sector may grow about 10%, right? 10%. But I personally believe the corporate social responsibility, CSR funding, should be increased from 2% to 3%. And that 1% extra should be spent on innovation, translation, technology development, and that should be done by all sorts of higher education institutes, be that state or IITs, NITs, anybody. In all sectors, we require that 1%. And in that, 0.2% should be given, I call this scheme as SIR, S-I-R, Students Internship Responsibility. Every student who is college going must have internship. And this is where I always been saying, and I did it in ICT 2 campuses, we should have a trimester system, not semester system. Trimester system, student alternate term, they go to industry, they come back, they can participate in changing the syllabus, vibrant syllabus, they become confident, and continuous evaluation, 70%. Okay, so 30% only for the end trimester. That is the formula. And last but not the least, girls' education should be free till PhD. It does not mean all girls will become PhD. It means those who are capable will not be hindered by lack of finances.
Right.
Okay. And an educated mother is not just educating the family, it is educating the society.
Right.
And they will control population. No mother will like her kids to be bad. She will always give them value system. And,
very true.
Yeah. And so irrespective of caste, creed, race, religion, educated mother will change the society. And in 2 decades rather, India will be a great nation. That is my personal belief. And there are a lot of ways by which we can educate girls freely.
Incredible. This was way deeper and way more valuable than we could have ever imagined.
True.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Salil, for joining us. And we're signing off here on Molecule Makers. And hopefully we'll have another extempo conversation.
Yeah,
with
by all
Doctor
means.
very soon.
Whenever, yes, by all means. On different topic.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.